Hello guys, I have just announced my next new tournament, Crap Map Cup. I just wanted to do a quick video looking at the maps. There will be one in future where we go over all the rules and the settings for the tournament. Because there is quite a lot of them when it comes down to the map choices, the civ drafting. So I'll have a separate video for the handbook, but this one purely is going to be for the maps, and you can see this is the poster for it. Entries are open already. It is going to be handled on the Discord. There is also an AOE zone. AOE zone link. God, really couldn't spit that one out, could I? Yes, so everything's on there. It's going to be the first 96 players, I think, first come, first serve, or first to fucking sign up. 25 about gone already, 96. It's going to be a random random unseeded multi-draw format. So almost like the FA Cup, if anybody knows football. Everybody's going to be in a big pot. I'm going to draw the numbers out each round. It could be anyone. You won't know who your opponent is till you're actually in the game. Anyway, let's take a quick look at the maps on this one. I need to actually load them, of course. So it is a custom map pack. And the best way to always look at maps is come into the editor, create a scenario, and they're all here. That's CMC, so you should go on, it should be CMC map pack. And we can just take a quick look. We're going to generate the maps, make sure they're all generated in the right size, because it's going to be tiny two player, of course. And you can see Alpine Lakes is very different in comparison to what it was before. It used to be, when it first was out, it was on the ladder. Like your TC was fully surrounded by these little lakes, but now you only have one. And it's super, super open. A couple of wood lines, nothing's too good. Looking at resources, you have still quite a bit of sheep, but only, from what I can tell, is one boar on the map. So that'd be one thing to look out for. Standard amount of villagers, but you have so much fish here. I still think Indians have been pretty strong, but the wood lines are so bad. It's going to be a very open map, I think, pretty aggressive. Second map. It's just Arabia, guys, and I don't know if people will understand the joke heavily much here. Arabia is just a shit map. It's just a shit map under its current script. Now, this one, this one's actually relatively good, but sometimes you have these wood lines where there's like a one-tile gap that goes in between them. All these pawns in the wood lines as well just drastically makes these much, much worse. And then sometimes you just get map gens where it's really, really bad. But these ones are actually alright. I will admit, these ones look pretty closed. It is a KOTD Arabia, and there is that randomness, but you can see here, gold forward on the hill, relatively open, nothing too bad. How about for the other player? Relatively closed so far. Relatively closed, looking at the map gens. And this is what you got to do, you just got to cycle through them, get what you can. Again, not too bad, but lots of hills around the TCs, so it should be easy to get in there. And same thing, look at all the hills around the base. Really hard to place TCs, and not the funnest map in recent times. I've seen enough players complaining about it on stream, how bad it is, blah blah blah. It made the cut to make it in here to Crap Map Cup. Next up we have Bog Islands. And oh my god, Bog Islands is an interesting one. You start with 3 boars, standard amount of villagers, a few buffaloes, but you're surrounded by swamp, and then you have this big mass of water in the middle, which, oh look at that, random buffalo, which does have deep fish. So it's going to be very water-centric, but you could in theory go for land units, but there's not a whole lot of wood in this opening land, but there's enough food to get you up to feudal age very fast. I can actually see a civ like Mongols being very strong here, because there's 3 boars. So you would get up super fast on Bog Islands. Next up we have Crater. It's not been on the map pool for very long. It's not been in the map pool in a long time. And oh god, woodline all the way to the edge. You have these sticky situations where you have the deer, sometimes next to the berries, and it's up along towards the hill. Are you going to push them or not? The TC spots are pretty standard. If you only have 1 boar, to me it's not a fun map to play. It can be pretty brutal at times. Very open, very hard to wall. You can't wall up here because of this rocky terrain. You can't wall on it properly, so you have to kind of chop in sometimes a little bit. So if archers get in the field, can be dangerous. Greenland up next has been a little bit improved, I believe. Oh, jinkies. Absolutely crazy. So there's a lot of shorefish on this map, and this is indicated by the flags. You can see it's not the hardest thing to wall up, but it generally gets into like towers, fire ships, man-at-arms, archers. It's an Empire's War map, and I think a lot of these Empire Wars map were designed for Empire Wars, and then the devs just thought it'd be a good idea to put them in a 1v1 map pool, probably because they have them. Try and freshen up a little bit, but not actually thinking of the balance, and these maps weren't designed to be 1v1s. Mega Random is in here. Typically you do get good Mega Random spawns, but then you get shit like this. Like, look at the first one. Look at the first one. Like, to me, this is just shit. It's not a good spawn. It's a little bit boring. I much prefer Hyper Random, which is properly random. Whereas Mega Random, it's just a little bit boring. But it could be a good map for somebody that's quite flexible. Like, this one's just pretty much like a 4 lakes. With lots of hills, and it's a nomad start. I think I've played this one before, actually. It does have a limited amount of scripts. I can't remember how many it is. It is in the hundreds. But yes. 3 horses to start. 3 village, like, come on. Mega Random gets a bit of a thumbs down. Metropolis might not be one that people are familiar with. It's a triple TC start, so it's like Budapest on steroids. Really, really is. So it's going to be quite a lot of APM to start this one off. And then you also have a massive lake in the middle with lots of fish. So it could be an interesting one. Shouldn't be too difficult to wall off towards the edge. Then you could also fight through the middle. I think it would be a map where games could be over pretty fast, but I don't know. I don't know. It's going to really help somebody who's got a lot of APM. Will be extremely difficult to play on. Monsoon. Monsoon up next. Control the Relic map this one is, but it's so bad in 1v1s I had to put it in. But there's so much gold and stone on your starting island. I didn't mind it. The thing is, it's total random generation. And depending what the start is, like, so look how many sheep, look how many deer we have. Next time we're going to go, it's went down. And 3 villagers here, but sometimes you start with skirms, sometimes you start with a military building. Like, so we got 2 horses now, cows. Still the same amount of gold and stone, though, which is consistent. Let's try a couple more. There we go. Got a blacksmith this time. 3 boars. Few cows, less deer now. And yeah, always changing. It's quite interesting. Double scouts to start, so could pick off some villagers. Sometimes it's 6 villagers as well, depending. I kind of like the idea of it. There's not a lot of wood, so you really have to control your starting island, right? There's also the swamp, so you could go for some water pressure, some demos and whatnot. But I think there's enough gold in the map where you could be FCing with certain civs that have a good, strong market play. Okay, next up we have Pacific Islands. And it's like migration, but it's really bad. And the main reason is there's just not a lot of food in your starting island. You have the buffaloes and 1 boar, of course. It's enough to get you up. But in the long term, it's not too hot. And the deep fish, it's really not good, right? It's really not that good. It's quite sparse, quite spread out. So the fish is not something on this map that's crazy dominating. You also have some wood lines out in the edge here, which you're probably going to have to go for at some point. There's not a lot of wood on the map. You can see these ones are quite small. Not very large either, so you maybe have to transport villagers out to these wood lines at an eventual point. But yeah, I'd say a more difficult migration. Pretty crap. Not going to be the most enjoyable thing to play. Next up we have Ravines. It's been a long time since we've seen this one on the ladder. Starts with all the outposts, and it's this difficult situation where you have the hunt on the hill and your TC's on the hill. It's just a bit gross. It really is a bit gross. And then all the resources are just so difficult. At the bottom of hills, on hills, so all the damage coming down onto them. Not very enjoyable. You do have the outposts, of course, but outposts aren't going to save you from, 15, 20 archers. Next up we have Swamp Arena. It's essentially like Arena, guys. It's the exact same. But it's just Bog Island in the middle. My favourite thing about this one, sometimes you do get generations where the wood is part of the wall. So it's one thing you got to watch out for. Somebody came forward and started to chop through. As far as I'm aware, you can't do the straggler chopping and then delete them, which is going to be allowed in the tournament. But as far as where you can do that, I think it would have to be, you know, one solid tile with no more, which I think would be quite rare. See, that one's connected by another one. But yeah, it looks like it'll be good fun, doesn't it? Only one relic in the middle, then the other ones towards the edge. And oh boy, there's a couple of crocodiles in there, so that could be very dangerous for the monk. Can't convert them. Okay, next up we have Team Islands. It's just not a very good map for 1v1. It's just not a very good map. To be fair, maybe this, even this island is a little bit unbalanced. Quite often or not, you get very unbalanced islands. We can see how skinny it is down here, quite thick. And this one's just a lot better. Like, you don't get a lot of damage from the edge. Sometimes you get really skinny parts, and some people have really thick parts. Like, the TC here is pretty close to the edge. This one, quite odd as well. You can get quite a lot of damage from water, but you can also land, of course. It's just not the most... It's not the most exciting at times, but I think it was important to have a water map in here. And people enjoy playing them, but I think most people get really pissed off with water maps. You know, I want to see people suffer. Next up, we have Wolf Hill. Wolf Hill. Again, not a map people are probably familiar with. I want to make this one so special. There's a massive amount of relics in the middle, also surrounded by some leopards, some wolves. So good luck going in there. The wood lines are pretty much, all towards the edge and very dense, but there is some weirdness in the middle here, but you would be expecting big battles for the relics. You can see there's some more leopards in it dotted around here. All over the place, to be honest, guarding these hallowed relics. Maybe Magyars would be the one to go over the one hit, one kill. Anyway, that was just a quick run through of the maps. We'll be doing a handbook video relatively soon. I hope you enjoyed that one. As I said, Crap Map Cup sign-ups are open on the Discord. Hope to see you there, but 25 gone already, only space for 96. No cash prize pool, but there is lots of funny prizes that will be getting handed out. That'll be all revealed in good time. Sign up now and enjoy.